Just one of those things, right? It's one of those things. We'll roll right into OU college football. Unfortunately, we have a snake amongst us. Oh, excuse me. Lincoln Riley leaves OU. For those of you who don't know, he took a USC job where he will make $110 million. He will get a private jet. They're buying both of his homes here in Norman. So he's basically getting a $1 million incentive just just to just to change. Go Pokes. Yeah, Pokes. Yeah, fuck off. Bad bad week for OU fans here as Lincoln Riley leaves. With him, he takes a handful of decommitments. We lose a handful of a lot of players have transferred. The top commitments we have lost so far has been OU lost their 5-star recruit in 2023, Malachi Nelson. He has officially announced that he is going to USC following Lincoln Riley. We also lost ESPN 300, Derek Moore, defensive end, offensive lineman, Demetrius Hunter, linebacker, Colby McKenzie, wide receiver, Brian Ennis, who was a 5-star and 4-star running back, Trey Webb, and others are expected to follow. A couple of key transfers that happened. Austin Stogner, the tight end for the Sooners, transferred out. Jordan Hazelwood also transferred out, as well as Theo Wees, and many more are expected. Not many more, but a handful more are expected to go out.
Don't forget about the star quarterback, Spencer Rattler.
Oh, Spencer Rattler. Well, backup quarterback Spencer Rattler has transferred out. 5-star backup quarterback behind 5-star dual threat quarterback Caleb Williams, freshman.
That's the only person we should really worry about not losing.
Yeah, if Caleb Williams transfers out, I don't know who sits behind him at the moment, but recruiting is for OU is like done now, right? We have to get Bob Stoops. We have to find our next head coach to keep things rolling, or we're done. It is what it is. OU will always be a great program, but I think this next year we have to weather the storm, and then the year after we hop right back into it. We did lose a lot of 2023 recruits, which is a big deal because we had the number 2 recruiting class in 2023, and now that's just gone.
Hey, if the recruits don't want to come here, fuck them. If people want to transfer out, fuck them. Oklahoma is one of the top 5 programs in the country, and Oklahoma's going to Oklahoma. They're going to get the 3-star dogs or whatever. And let's face it, just because you have a 5-star doesn't mean you're going to play like one. There was a couple. I'm not going to. Obviously they're amazing athletes. They're amazing athletes, so they got there for a reason. So I'm not going to say that they're completely terrible. But
being in the SEC is going to help too, honestly, with recruiting. So I don't think it's the end of the world, or if there is one down season, OU fans are just going to have to realize that's what happens when a top coach leaves. It's happened before. It'll happen again. So weather the storm, have big game Bob back for a bowl game to start it off. And, OU will be fine, people. Like, fuck the snake.
To interrupt you here, Barrett, we're going to bring in Cody Turner here, college football knowledgeless. I don't know. Knows a lot about college football here.
Solid word.
Yeah, made up word. Dictionary it. All right, Barrett, continue on with your rant here. We're currently talking about Lincoln Riley leaving OU. Cody, so feel free to chime in when.
Yeah, I was just finishing with he's a snake. It's whatever. The best we can hope for is USC just doesn't do well, so whatever. It's fine.
I really didn't think it could get worse than what Lincoln Riley did, but then Brian Kelly turns around and probably does it at least a little bit worse than the snake Riley was. In the end, they're grown men and they're looking for money and stuff, but I don't see why Riley would leave an amazing class, an amazing school for
SEC. He's afraid.
Possible success, but it's the Pac-12. He goes there for a reason.
He's afraid.
Well, so short term, what Kelly did's worse. Long term, Lincoln Riley's gutting a program right now. You have 5 transfers, recruiting people are just decommitting. It's putting you like 5-10 years behind in what you were at. So short term, I think what Kelly did is worse because of the playoff situation. But long term, Lincoln is doing way worse than Brian Kelly's doing as of right now, and that could change depending on the transfers and such. But I mean, to me, Lincoln making the move for him is all W's, but he is absolutely putting Oklahoma football back 5-10 years. Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of
my
the biggest hopes. One of the biggest hopes we can have right now is Bob Stoops. Bob Stoops. It's been reported that he went to Chili's last night to recruit a 5-star that was going to decommit next year. I don't know if he secured that guy on the commitment, but he also the next morning, he went out and did a house call visit with another recruit that was in the air on a 2022 commitment. So hopefully Bob Stoops can continue to keep these guys here. Bob Stoops I don't think he's being paid by OU to do this bowl game and do all this recruiting. That dude just loves this program. Big program guy. Bob Stoops. I really hope I think he left. Seth had something about his punishment. Seth, can you go? Do you know? Can you explain that?
That was Barrett.
Oh, something about Bob Stoops had a punishment and he had to leave for.
Oh yeah, that was just a Twitter conspiracy theory, but
we're all about it. We're all about it.
There was
like
something.
Michael Jordan theory.
There was something about Bob Stoops. I don't know if it was from the Joe Mixon thing. It didn't have any details on that, but there was some hush deals made with the Big 12 and the NCAA where Bob Stoops that's why he retired at like almost the middle of the night. Then he pretty much has Lincoln there as a placeholder to maybe come back later on. That's why he can coach this bowl game, because it's not a Big 12 game. That's why he's allowed to do this. So there's just a little weird stuff there. I honestly don't think Bob Stoops will be the coach, after this bowl game. So, but just there's so many weird conspiracy theories out there. I just thought that one was pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. You never know, man.
To Nick's point, I mean, Riley can go win all the conference championships he wants in the Pac-12, but he's not going to win a natty.
I mean, he's under a lot of pressure. Lincoln will be, obviously. So
yeah, Lincoln is under a ton of pressure to turn that program around. Obviously, I don't think it's going to happen in 2022, but Lincoln will be able. I think he'll get enough commitments to not want to leave Los Angeles or the California area to stay in LA and compete. So I think USC has a chance to compete next season, but 2023 is their year. They get Malachi Nelson, Archie Manning. I don't know if he's declared committed anywhere yet. Has he said anywhere he's committed?
I think Ole Miss. He's already committed to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah, they're the favorite.
Right. He did commit to Ole Miss.
Good for him.
So I mean, Malachi Nelson is the number 2 quarterback in that class. USC has a real chance to compete going forward. I don't think 2022 is their year. 2023 is when USC is going to return to former glory.
Yeah, so what I think it's about is you just got to get to the playoff at this point, and then you're in a 2-3 game situation to where you get on a run, you win a championship, right? Like if you go to SEC, you got to get top 3 SEC, which is going to be rough to do with Georgia, Alabama, OU, Texas might come. I doubt it. Texas is trash, but A&M, et cetera. So you have to get through them to even get to the playoff. So if you're at USC, you get to through Washington State. I mean, really nobody's just to get to if you make it to the top 12, that's all you have to do. You have a shot. As an OSU fan, I am stoked about the new Big 12 because we get through Cincinnati and Baylor, and we should be looking straight in the face of a playoff berth most years.
Yeah.
And all you just get there. At that point, it's anybody's ball game. Win 3 games and you're a champion. So I think that's his thought is why go through a gauntlet all year when I can just go laze around through the Pac-12, which is the worst Power 5 conference.
Yeah.
And then I need a 4-game win streak. So I think that's his thought process. I don't blame him. And now you don't have to recruit the East Coast. In the SEC, you're recruiting East Coast and Texas versus, again, Bama, Georgia, Florida, Clemson's over there. Florida State still has name power. Or you can go west and recruit against Oregon. Again,
play in the sun or play in the rain.
Yeah, some people say, well, I guess he's not very competitive or he doesn't have much dog in him, which I agree with. But at the same time, if I make $10 million to have a much easier job, I'm all about it.
Of course, it was a great move. It was a great move for him. Obviously, a snake move, but
Oh yeah, everything. The Roy Manning thing. The recruiting the next day of you commits. It's a
Yeah.
absolute.
The Roy Manning thing is
bad
very
move.
weird. Like that's like I don't know if there's any
They're bad
violation
moves.
against. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know if there's any violation against that, but that's a weird
It's-
situation going on with Manning.
Like have some integrity, right? Like okay, you
At
left.
least
have
finish
some
out the bowl
integrity on
game.
your way out. I don't
Finish
say
out
that.
the bowl
like,
game. Just stick around. To let your recruits know. I mean, he was calling recruits the minute he signed the contract with USC. Now he could have
Yeah.
let those recruits know in advance, like, hey, maybe he didn't plan on leaving. Maybe this is an honest mistake by Lincoln Riley. We got to give him the
no, he's been planning
benefit of
this
the
for
doubt.
months.
Come on.
He's been planning this
He
for
claimed
months.
USC called him the minute after the OSU game,
Fuck.
and then he was talking with them. The
There ain't
next
no
morning.
way. Early
Yeah.
September, he was on the phone with USC.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you hear rumors. I don't know who this rumor is. The rumor I heard was that LSU had catering ordered for him to show up. Like LSU thought he was in the bag, and then of course he flipped on him. But it's rumors you hear. You know how these things get out of hand. The rumor was LSU had catering ready for Lincoln Riley, and then he was like, "No, I'm going the other way."
Hey, well, all I got to do is switch some letters around, and you can spell Brian
Right.
Kelly. So
Right. So what I'm interested to see about this is how so this is the first kind of case study in all the new transfer rules, right? Like before you transfer, you get to sit out at least 1 year, and maybe 2 if you stay in conference. Well, that's with this coach leaving, and now it's kind of stinks for you guys that it's OU, obviously. But it's the first case study. How does these new rules impact coaches and new programs as a whole? And we're seeing it not very well. Like OU, again, to me, they're set back. I think they delay their trip to the SEC now, right? I don't think they go next
They
year.
go the full term, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah,
And so
2025.
we're seeing that it's just not. We're seeing how these rules work out.
Yeah, but Nick Lamb says the transfer portal is killing college football. But hey, it's about time. These young men have a chance though, and
I do agree with that.
So many things do change in a program, like a coach or even an athletic director, or maybe even coordinators, and things like the Tua Jalen Hurts situation and stuff like that. Like if you're not getting any playing time, might as well. So I don't know if it's killing them. I think it's, they do need to make it better. Like you said, like how, maybe more streamline it a little bit more and make it more, I don't know, easier to for all of us to understand, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So I think maybe they should add some exceptions, right? Like Jordan Hazelwood, Austin Stogner, those guys can't go to USC because they tell you when you sign, you're not committing to a coach, committing to a university. And I do understand the kids need options, things change, but maybe some exceptions, like you can't go in conference, you can't go to your old coach,
right?
Without sitting out a year.
Is that a rule?
No, I think it should be. It's not. But I think it should
okay.
Be.
I mean,
that way all the OU kids can't just go to USC now. Like, if you want to leave, that's fine. I get it. You love Lincoln. That's your guy.
I don't think Stogner goes to USC. I think Hazelwood probably. I mean Hazelwood, but I don't think Stogner does. There was a rumor about where he was going, but I forgot where it was at. Weiss leaves, but Weiss isn't very healthy. We need to keep worrying about most of the defense that we have on the field, according to Twitter, because I follow a lot of the players. They're saying they're staying home. They're staying.
Yeah, they're
Oklahoma.
staying. A lot of them are flexing that they're staying with OU, and a lot of them are getting.
We just need to worry about Caleb Williams and Marvin Mims, Mario Williams, and then the offensive line, obviously. But if Bedenbow stays, which I heard that he was getting on the plane, but then he's out recruiting and he's staying. I don't know if Bedenbow left or not, honestly.
Yeah, so he was originally in their report they left, but he was not on that plane. Originally, it was reported he wasn't.
Yeah.
It was.
As I was saying, they said he was on the plane. I was pretty upset because Bedenbow's an amazing coach, but apparently he's still in Oklahoma. So we'll see what happens with that.
I think Williams stays. Depending on the hire, I think Williams stays.
Wow.
Well,
you want to move into that? Who we think is going to get
rolling into the coaching hire here? Who do we think is going to be OU's next coach? The obvious favorite is Brett Venables right now. He's very, very much loved in OU.
Nowadays
loves Brett Venables. Since
when? You guys ran him out of town.
Well, we ran him out of town in 2011. But everybody likes Brett because Brett Venables was here for the national championship in
Yeah.
2000. He was hired in 1999. Took them 1 year to turn that program, or 2 years to turn around that program. When Bob Stoops took it over in '98, they won a natty title in 2000, and then he stayed on until 2011 as a defense coordinator, and then it kind of changed around there. Another big fan favorite is Josh Heupel, who was the quarterback of that 2000 national championship team, and also helped develop guys like Sam Bradford, who got him a Heisman Trophy. I like the Josh Heupel hire, but my obvious candidate is Bob Stoops if he's willing to stay.
Well, and there's a lot of names being thrown around.
There is a lot of names. I can read through the names if you guys want. We have Luke Fickell for the Cincinnati coach. He's expected to sign a contract extension, but has not been confirmed on whether or not he's interested in that or not. The OU has said they haven't said directly. Insiders have reported that they are targeting Cliff Kingsbury. I doubt he leaves. Mark Stoops from Kentucky. I doubt he comes over. I'm not really interested in Mark Stoops.
He signed an extension. He's not going.
He did sign an extension. That's right. Dave,
Keep commenting.
Aranda. Are people commenting?
No.
Yeah, Nick, he's looking at OSU guy. You keep commenting, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
He wants a sincere congratulations.
Aranda, the Baylor coach, he's expected to sign a big contract extension after the Big 12 game, whether he wins or loses. Mark Cristobal from Oregon, the Pac-12 coach, has big wins over Ohio State and has won 3 straight Pac-12 championships. They don't expect him to leave, but making a jump like that could improve his pedigree. And then Lane Kiffin, who's known for just dropping programs like nobody else's business. He dropped out of Tennessee after 1 year. He's been at Ole Miss for 2 years. Does he just – I mean, he very well could just leave.
Well, I got breaking news. It won't be Marcus Freeman because he is the next head coach at Notre Dame as of 10 minutes ago. Their defensive coordinator, Marcus Freeman.
There was a report that they were going to move him up. So good for Marcus Freeman. Well deserved, I honestly think.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessarily the right hire for him though, but it could be. There was talk. I can't remember what coach it was. Was it Fickell? I think it was Fickell.
Fickell and Campbell were the big talks for Notre Dame.
Yeah, because Fickell is a Catholic. Not that religion has anything to do with it, but the dude has like 6 kids, real Catholic into the religion. They felt like he would fit in perfectly with that program. He was their top candidate, I thought, which I knew Freeman was available. I didn't know they were going to hire him this early. I thought for sure they were going to field offers.
I think that tips off the OU job. Because surely Fickell would take that job over Cincinnati, right? If it's offered to him. And why would you not offer Fickell that job? He's done a great job at Cincinnati. And he fits in. I think that tips off that Fickell might be the guy for OU. He's just waiting for the playoff and or conference championship game. Right? I mean, because you got to think OU's got to have somebody in tow because signing day is coming up. You can't have his spot open that long.
Yeah, they're gonna go fast.
You'd think Fickell would be Notre Dame's first call, and surely he'd want that job. And they wouldn't give him a time to. I mean, that may tip off the OU hire. I mean, just to be honest about it.
Well, I mean, there was a report that Venables touched down in Norman. I'm going to assume that's for an interview the day of. I mean, yeah, if you follow OU Twitter, everybody is on the Venables train. It's Venables or bust for most of the fan base and social media. There is receipts where they ran smooth out of town. I mean, if Venables comes back, that's a big step because he's a defensive side of the ball coach, and that's what Oklahoma needs. I mean, they're going to move the ball. They have the talent to move the ball regardless, and they need a defensive sided coach. But I think it's Kiffin or Venables because Kiffin, big time recruiter. That dude got great recruits to go to FAU when he was there, and sure. I think he's just he's been 1 year, 2 year in colleges waiting for that big time job to just fall right into his lap.
Job to open up, yeah.
I mean, regardless of what anybody says, Oklahoma's way up there on one of the most prestigious programs in college football. I mean, Kiffin could
with the Notre Dame hire, OU's the most desirable job in NCAA right now.
I think they're more desirable than Notre Dame too. Just my thoughts. I mean, Notre Dame's got so many issues to deal academic wise.
They play in a conference.
I think Oklahoma's a better job than Notre Dame, regardless.
It was LSU better.
LSU, I don't know. Because of the recruits you can get from 5-stars in Louisiana, maybe there's, 5-star recruits in OU or from Oklahoma are far in between versus what you could get down in Louisiana and Florida. You could potentially get those kids from Florida as well. It's not that far of a drive to the Bayou from Florida.
I prefer the OU job just because of the stability of OU that they've shown over the last since Bob Stoops was hired. LSU will get a coach, win a national championship, and fire him 2 years later, which is simply ridiculous. Like, rebuilds happen. So I would, as an OSU guy, I would prefer to the OU job. That's just my main take. I know LSU has its advantages, recruiting wise, probably a little bit money wise, just because they're in SEC. But I think stability wise, OU would be the place to go between those two jobs.
Going to the SEC, so
yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, so to me, I would prefer the OU job over LSU job.
And if you can get in the door quick, you get your quarterback. Like Caleb Williams is no doubt a freaking dude. If you can get in there and be like, let's do this thing, you have probably one of the best quarterbacks in college football already there, ready to go.
Yeah.
I think if we want to keep Caleb Williams, we need to bring in a quarterback-minded coach such as Josh Heupel or keep Bob Stoops around, right? Maybe let Josh Heupel be the head coach and keep Bob Stoops as an ambassador to the program, and then let Bob take Caleb Williams in and let Heupel develop him, right? I think Heupel, if we want to keep Caleb Williams, is the best hire.
So here's my theory on what they're doing, and I think it's also why it's kind of taking so long. And I would like to hear y'all's thoughts on this as OU fans. I think you're going to like it. So what I think what's happening is Bob wants to coach again. So Bob is the coach. They're looking for an offensive coordinator like Lincoln, who they want to bring in to replace Bob in 5 years. Someone like the Lanning guy from Georgia or some other offensive coordinator that they know can lead a program. So I think Bob's coming. That press conference of his, he was pumped up. He's ready to go. I think he's ready to coach again. And so I think Bob might be in place. They're looking for that offensive coordinator that will be able to do what Lincoln did, but actually hopefully not dump the program. So that's what I think they're doing. It's kind of out there, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. What would y'all think of that if that was kind of the situation?
I would love Stoops.
We want Bob.
That would be.
I mean,
insane.
if stepson is going to leave, bring back the OG daddy and Bobby here.
Right.
We'll take Bobby.
Hey man, Bob Stoops can get, if you're a true Oklahoma fan, Bob Stoops can get you ready to just run through a wall as leadership. And him coaching the bowl game is like nostalgic. Hopefully he has that damn white visor on, sitting on the sidelines. It's going to be you got to tune in for the whole damn game, just watch Bob coach rather than Oklahoma play.
I saw something else funny on Twitter. Someone was like, hey, Notre Dame should hire Lou Holtz for the bowl game. Yeah, Bob Stoops versus Lou Holtz, and the winner takes the crown and play like a champion. Because I know there's that big battle who actually created that. So hire Lou Holtz for dinner.
Cool.
Notre Dame can play, and the winner takes the phrase. That's kind of funny.
Yep. All right, I like